Hey guys, Renee from Fishing the Bay, just at Cleveland, boating, camping and fall dry show. Just going to do a video for you guys, show you everything that's here. Awesome, have a great day.
I was going to buy one of these,
Oh, as if you don't want to stab your ass. Oh my god, these things are sick.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I got a couple $100,000 or something.
We'll come back and look at that.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can buy $100.
That's cute.
There you go, guys.
Good, thanks, how are you?
Good, thanks. Not bad for a Friday, getting paid to sit here in the sun.
That's the go.
Ponytail cats, oh, you're a true star.
That's what I need.
Ponytail cat.
They're awesome.
Campfires and cocktails. Unicorns don't do that.
That's pretty cool.
This should work. That's all good.
Thank you.
How are you?
Not too bad.
That's pretty cute.
Early start.
there while you're going that way. You might
this
like to
bad boy
stop at
out.
Caravan HQ. Make your way to their Caravan HQ and
Oh, it's
visit
this one.
the team that brought along plenty of vans to show you
It's only
this weekend,
72k.
with off-road caravans between 64,990 up to 29,990. They're sure to have something to suit your needs. They're all over there near food court
that's
too
awesome.
for you.
This one's got 2 beds. One up there and one down there.
Morning.
How you going?
You good?
So there is a reason. These guys are quite happy in fresh or salt water. So whenever I pull up in Australia, fresh or salt, if I put them in, I've got fish that are quite happy. And they will hopefully chase a few of the lures. Now I got these fish yesterday from a fish farm. So please take out of the questions, he doesn't feed them or he trains them, because that's impossible anyway, and I do feed them. And having had them one day, I haven't fed them yet. I would say probably another 4 or 5 days before they'll eat, because they just have to settle into the water. So I'll be doing this show and then up to the Sunshine Coast, and to make you smile, when I finish the Sunshine Coast I've got a bit more time off, so I'll let them go. Why? Because I'm a nice guy. Let's do the show. Now, it's a lure fishing show. It may teach you a little bit about lure fishing. I guess if you're a caravan and camping show, you'll travel. When you pull up anywhere in Australia, it'd be really nice if you had a couple of lures that would work. That way you don't have to worry too much about bait. Bait works. I've been using it for over 60 years. I'm good with bait. But a couple of lures you can use as well. Fishing freshwater. For Murray cod, I'll be using much bigger lures. Bigger lures like this on surface. Okay? Simple as that. This guy here, probably more of an all-rounder. Cod, yellow belly, bass, barra. Great on bass. They come in 2 sizes. That's your larger, but a smaller one. Now, if I'm fishing surface, in freshwater, back of the tank, opposite end of me, rod tip down. To make that frog look like a live frog, you wouldn't do this, would you? Like it's powered by a Yamaha. They'd like to be able to swim that quick, but they can't. So when you're fishing fresh, it is a very important part of your lure fishing, your speed. Back of the tank again, rod tip down. Even if it's a popper with a flat nose, you're just sort of pulling it along and stopping, pulling along. It's just basically kick, turn over, mate. Kick, 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 let it sit. Kick, 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 let it sit. Kick, kill the frog. Kill the frog. Kill the frog. Kill the frog. Kick. What would do to frog? Redfin, yellow belly, bass, cod, trout, barramundi, Saratoga, sooty grunter, will all have a lash at a frog. If you want to sink the frog, I'd usually leave a single hook in there or a treble on his backside. Split shot, sheet lead or jig head, in other words some weight on his nose, you can drop it down in the water column. If you're targeting smaller fish, like bass, like redfin, like trout, you might go to the smaller frog. Now these come out of the USA, I've sold them for nearly 20 years. They're a really nice looking frog if you're into frogs. That realistic, 3 weeks ago down at Yarrawonga on the Murray River, we got to the middle of the day and not much was happening and I was bored. I actually put some lipstick and nail polish on that frog. I flicked it out and by the time I got back to the bank there was 5 male frogs trying to party with it. We're talking about a good looking frog. You can pick them up from the United States or from me. You know, I stretch the truth a bit on the fishing. The next lure is a hard body. Would I lie to you? They offer me a job down in Canberra. Stick around. Hard body lure. Big or small, work pretty much the same way. Now again, I've got one here somewhere to have it. If you're fishing freshwater, you get bigger profile lures like that. There's a reason, I'll tell you. Salt water, you go like, doesn't matter if it's a lure in salt water that big, it's a thinner lure. If you're fishing fresh, that bigger profile, more wobble, more noise. A lot of anglers will go darker colours. Purple, dark green, black's a very good colour in fresh water. When you've got dirty water, you're saying, because the fish aren't like us, they're totally different. They can find our lures. Now there's 3 ways they find a lure. In fresh water, and of course in salt. Eyesight, if they can't see it, smell it, so bait. If they can't see it or smell it, vibration, they'll use their lateral line. So first we'll go freshwater. If that's a bigger profile lure, like a stump jumper, back of the tank, kick your Yamaha into gear, your electric, or if you haven't got either of those, on the bank or in the boat, just tick it along about that pace. That's your speed in fresh water. Please don't go any faster because you don't need to in fresh. That's it. work on through. Now the biggest problem I'm having at the moment is I'm not getting the bite. If that water was dirty, I got back to the bank, I'd probably look at my mate and I'll say, no fish here, and he'll say, yeah, and the lures don't work. Totally wrong. The fish are interested, so sometimes you might have to fish in an area for 10 or 15 minutes. A bloke said, that's a long time to be flicking a lure. I said, I've sat in the same spot for 5 hours with bait and not got a bite, but I kept in there, so everything works. If this helps you, and I'm just an average fisherman like you, sometimes I go fishing with my darling who loves fishing, but she likes using bait. She's good with lures, but she prefers bait. I'm up there, so she's out there, we're anchored up somewhere, we've got the electric going, whatever, and she's there with bait. I'm throwing lures around the boat. Do whatever you like, whatever turns you on. There's a million ways to play the game. Salt water's different. When you watch the anglers on television, take me out of the equation. Pick your favourite angler, and 9 times out of 10, if you turn the sound down, the most important thing is what he's doing with the lure. So watch his hands, rod tip, and how he works the lure and the speed. So a hard body lure, big or small in salt, for sea bream, smaller lures, or barra or mangrove jack could be worked along. Take it down, let it sit, and I'll just twitch it, twitch it, twitch it. And when you're twitching the lure or ripping it, what you're trying to do is make it look like it's wounded, dying or in trouble. Now the fish you're looking at came from the fish farm, and the only thing you've ever eaten in probably the 9 months they've been alive are pellets like that. If I can twitch a lure in there and spark them, it must be telling you something. That's instinct in the fish. It's called a reaction strike. If you're not sure what a reaction strike is, gentlemen, you can actually test this out at home. Very simple. You go to the pub tonight at 6 and you drink till 10. You walk in the front door at 10 o'clock half shot, and the first things you said to your darling when she looks at you is, what's for dinner? Now at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to get a reaction strike. That's a guarantee. For me, 35 years has never failed. I'm not joking. Nobody's that silly. Twitch your lures. It'll work for you. If you want the other reaction strike, do what I said. Now you're going to miss out on dinner and a whole bunch of stuff you won't get for a while. It's a guaranteed as well. Let's try this. If you want a lure that's difficult, not impossible, to snag up, in fresh, we'll go back to fresh and I'll go salt. This is a great lure. It's called a spinnerbait. Now a young fella said to me, I fish the river and I fish fresh water. Are they good? I said, they're brilliant. They catch a lot of fish. And then he said to me, how do I know how hard to use it? I said, do you have a swimming pool? He said, yeah. I said, when the kids aren't in there, flick it out, let it sink down a little bit and work about that far underneath the water. Okay? He said, I could do that. I said, that's the speed you want. That's it. Don't have to go too quick, just tip it on through. As long as the blades are ticking, you're going fast enough. That's all you've got to do, is the bite. He said, well, how do I know how deep it's going to be? I said, you count. So if you count to 3, it should be down about 1 metre. And you just tick it along at 1 metre. If you count to 6, you're down 2 metres. You've got a fair idea. That's your speed. There's a good through structure, difficult to snag up, and when they hit it, they normally hit the skirt. And a lot of times, I really like to put on a soft plastic. Maybe the gulp, soft plastic because it's bait, gives it more flavour, scent, all going for it. Casting one of these is easy if you practice. First thing you practice is not getting backlash or bird's nest. So if you put your thumb on there and you put some weight on the end of it, doesn't matter what it is, and while you're watching the footy tonight on television or whatever you like to watch, drop that to the floor, stop it. Now that stops that backlash, stops the overload. That's all it is, it's just you're not stopping it in time. So practice that with your thumb. Casting, turn your handles up. Now I don't play darts, but if I did, I'd do that. So if my rod tip and rod and everything goes straight back and forth, that lure always goes straight, always straight. So you've only got to practice how far you want to throw it. Now, if you've got an area where that's all water out there, you don't give a rat's backside. But if you're targeting, say, mangroves, don't matter what sort of lure we're talking about now, or a snag or a stump, and you can put that right up against that stump, you're the angler who catches the fish 9 times out of 10. So practice thing. Not because I'm good, I just practice a bit, but it's part of the job. And that's basically it. Now I was doing this blindfolded the other day, and the lady said to me, I can't believe you can throw it every time and land it on exactly the same spot. How do you do it? I said, I practice every day, I'm extremely good, and the braid I use is the same length as the tank. I can throw it as hard as I like, it always lands in exactly the same spot. She said, that's pretty impressive. I said, not as impressive as that, I'm really good. Practice your casting. It's not about me, forget that. It's about you. If you can put it on the spot, I'll show you where the fish will be. 99% of the time when you're fishing fresh or salt water with whatever lure you're using or plastic, if you can put it there, you're the angler who catches the fish, because 9 times out of 10, especially through the day, they'll be on structure. They'll be right up against something, oyster rack, mangroves, a tree stump, somewhere where you've got to put it in there where the fish are. If you're targeting mangrove jack, I can tell you from experience, and I'm using things like soft bobs, I'll show you this in a minute, if you don't actually throw in right up against the bank and The fish 9 times out of 10 will hit it on the way out. They won't hit it when you go here and the fish is here, and there's your snag. You've actually got to get in behind them, under a wharf, etc., and to hit it on the way out. That's what they do. That's just the way it's in them. So, as close as you can get is exactly where you want to be. They're called a spinnerbait. I've got a range of those downstairs, and they're just about anything are fresh. Now, you guys have been a fantastic audience. If I do 4 more, we'll call it square. I don't need to hold you too long. It's a magic day. We'll go a little bit smaller. We'll try one of these. A couple of things in the tank. I've been selling these for nearly 7 years. The all-rounder is those. So anything from, say, that to that, I'd use those. Why? They're great, they're simple. They're called fish grips. They don't rip the bottom jaw of the fish. They do float. They're made in the United States, not out of the Orient. Our brothers in China these days, who's doing horrible things to us. These guys here, the bigger size. So reef fish, mulloway, snapper, kingfish, queenfish, bigger fish. So anything over about 5 or 6 kilos. Bottom jaw your fish. They work the same as those, but especially good for big fish. Can't bite you or spike you. Great for flathead as well. Head to the side, or the smalls. Pliers or hand take out your hook trebles. Now if you want to keep the fish, you take your knife, you send it off to heaven, you put it in the ice slurry. You want to let it go, which I do a lot these days, swim your fish. Swims away quite happily. The son-in-law, Einstein, lost a pair the other day. Yeah, let it go. I said, you obviously had your hand through there. He said, no, I didn't. I said, no problem. 20 minutes later, I'm not lying to you, it's a flathead on top of the water. Got the grips back, let the fish go, because they float. They don't go that way, they come up. So it's quite amazing. That was just a fluke. Picture. Listen carefully. If it's big, it's here. If it's small, it's much bigger out there like they do on the magazine. So get it out there and get the shot. A small pair of $20. You got a 12-month guarantee from me, and I've sold them for, I think it's nearly 7 years. I don't get them back. The only thing that'll bugger them up, not long term but short term, is when you're not using them, you do that. Don't. When you're not using them, you store them open. Why? Because they get that heavy bite, and they're locked down, holds the fish without hurting the fish. Fish has never complained to me anyway. $20 for the smalls, 25 for the large. You're on the count if you want to play. If I do 3 more, we'll call it square. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Soft plastics. Now, every tackle store sells them, but you've also got jigging lures right opposite them. Some nice people. They actually make their own, but have a quick look at them as well. Ask some questions, and you just might get the answers you're looking for. What I wanted to show you, it's here, is this little guy here. Now, they do come in 3 sizes. Sea bream, black bream, flathead, bass, estuary, perch, etc. I like that size. The next size up, kingfish, trevally, mulloway, snapper, bigger flatties. That size, they're a soft 5. And then there's a bigger one again if you're targeting bigger fish outside on the counter. They're called a shimmer shad. They're made by Berkeley, and they're a copy of a very, very expensive lure that works extremely well as well. So you're basically going to get a better price, in my opinion, on a pretty good lure. Now it works like this. We'll go near the back of the tank. They're a soft 5, so they've basically got no rattle, soft in the mouth, 2 sets of trebles. Drop it down the water column. You can work the top of the water, the mid-level, down towards the bottom. You've got to let it go so I can show the people. Let it go so I can show the people. Bad fish. They've got heavily scented. Really, really nice action. If you're targeting flathead, bream, etc., let it sink to the bottom. Rod tip down. You know it's on the bottom because your line's gone slack. They weigh 10 grams. Lift it up nice and high. Let it glide back in. Just lift and drop. Now this guy's been belted because he's been belted, but I'll just straighten him out in a minute. They get a bit of a lift and that slow glide back down. Usually, if they're interested, they'll see it on the lift, pick it up on the drop. You want it or not? No? Yes. Maybe? Other guy was happy, wasn't he? Call the soft bite. I'll straighten him up in a minute. Yeah, if he gets bent or belted, because it does happen, flex him out again, ready to rock and roll. They're interested. If you are interested, it's on the counter there. Have a look. Last 2 lures. Thanks for watching. Now, soft plastics you buy in every tackle store. The world's biggest selling lure is called gulp. What it is, the lure is actually bait. Does that make sense? So what you've got is a lure that's not plastic. This is plastic. I think it's going to come up very big. It's a 4-inch grub. Okay, they make them in bigger, smaller, etc. They work on a jig head. Now, a jig head is a hook and sinker. So you go anywhere in Australia, fresh or salt water. If I'm fishing fresh, I normally go to darker colours, purples, dark greens, like the spinnerbaits, blacks. Don't be afraid to use dark colours. In salt water, I might go to a lighter colour, but don't always work that way. Have a play. With the gulp, you've got to put it away when you finish, or if it gets chewed up, then again you have to replace it. And a bloke said to me, I use that gulp, I catch a lot of fish, but they chew the lure up. I said, my heart bleeds for you, mate, it must be terrible. He said, buy some more. You're not listening. Great for kids. Now, do you like kids? I love my son. He doesn't like waiting. Everything my boy does is fast. His girlfriend must be very disappointed. So if I go out with Junior, quite often I'll say to him, we're going bait fishing today. He'll say, what are we going to do? I was going to throw out the line and you wait to get a bite. He said, I'm not going. I said, why not? He said, I don't like waiting. I said, plan B. Bang that out there like that, and we can work along the top of the water like a little bait fish. We'll say salt water, tailor, trevally, salmon, etc. If he gets back to the bank and he hasn't had a bite, first cast he'll say, can we go somewhere else? There's no fish here. I say, of course we can, mate. I'll pack everything up. Before we do it, bang it out there again one more time for me. Let it sink to the bottom. He'll say, how do I know it's in the bottom? I'll say, your line's gone slack. Lift it up nice and gently and let it glide back down. He'll say, nothing's happening. I'll say, mate, be patient. Flathead and brim. Flathead love movement. I got the bump in. I fell and hit it. Just lift and glide. Now 9 times out of 10, if they see it on the lift, they'll pick it up on the drop, the high rod tip, the slow glide. And usually they'll sort of come behind it and there's your bite. That ain't rocket science. Flathead love movement. Flathead lay in one spot. Then you might see them shoot off and they'll come down again. So they're waiting for you to put something past them. A lot of times you'll drift for flathead. But if you're on a sandbank, it's very hard to drift. So you work the area. You go out there to the bottom, back through here. So lift, drop, take your time. There, 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 there. Just work along. If I get down to the Berkeley sign and there's one over there, I have a chance to catch that fish. I mean, it ain't rocket science. If you find one fish, you quite often find 1 or 2. And if you find a bigger fish, you'll find there's some, like at the pub, there's a pretty girl, a big female. The younger blokes or the smaller fish usually hang around them. Sort of works in nature as well. I'll just show you this because I wasn't going to do this, but I'll just show you this guy. I've taken most of the weight off this. So I'm using a lighter jig head. And let's just say I've got an oyster rack and I might be targeting brim. So I'll get near the back of the tank, drop it down really slowly. I'm right in the back corner now. And slow drop. Just lift it up and let it glide back in. Now I'm not doing any more than that, just lift it and let it drop back in. You got that really easy, slow drop for the idea, without doing too much with it at all. So that natural drop, it's called a jerk bait, also named after the brother-in-law. That really slow lift and that slow glide back in is usually you're going to pick up your bites. Nice and easy. These called a power bait. They're plastic. Remember the gulp I told you about? All the same shapes, just that you're actually working with bait, so when they do pick it up, they do tend to chew on it. Sunglasses. You'll notice I've got a gentleman right opposite with a good range of sunglasses. My major sponsor, which is Bars Optics, is also here at the show. Make sure you check your prices and check what you want to buy. You go up that aisle or up that aisle, you go up there, the middle aisle, second turn right is down there as well, so you've got a bit of a range to look at. If you're interested in floating sunglasses, the ones I wear are polarised, category 3, you can't get better. They come with a 2-year guarantee on lenses and frames and they float just like that. So if you do any type of water sports, me, I drive a truck all over Australia. I only wear one pair of glasses, the same one, so they do for everything. You're around about $95 with a 2-year guarantee. I've also got some down there. They don't float. You've got a polarised top and you've got a reader here. Now the reader, for me, is brilliant because I can drive along in the truck or go out fishing. If I look down, I use about 2.5s now. So I've got a 1, 1.5, 2 or 2.5 Magna and fire in the bottom. Look down tie night and read them out. The sounder out there on polarised. About $90. Just think if you want to look at it. I'm happy to be back at work. Doesn't really matter what the fish do today. This is the last lure. It's called the tail spinner. They come in 2 sizes. That one weighs 7 grams. The next size up weighs 14, so it's much bigger. So if you're targeting bigger fish, use the bigger size. If you're targeting sea bream, black bream, flathead, redfin, trout, bass, I'd go to that size. Back of the tank, opposite end of me. Drop it down in the water column. Looks like a little fleeing bait fish. Got amazing action in my opinion. Catch a lot of fish on these. Just top of the water, mid-level, down towards the bottom. This is the one that usually gets the bites. I can't believe I actually not got that past me. Too slow. All right, let's try this one. A bit lower in the water column. Back there again. Drop it down in the water column. Lift and glide. You can see most of those fish are in that darker area. They don't like that bright sunlight. Just lift and drop, lift and drop. And again, if it's to the bottom, then you're targeting flathead and brim, but just lift and drop. That's it's amazing having go that other big girl, leave me alone. Happens, doesn't it? Nobody, I can't believe you don't like the look of that, boys. By the way, every fish in that tank is male, not because they look. All barramundi are born male. When they get to a certain size, they change to a higher form of being called female. It works for me, fellas. True story. So when you start to get them over 75 centimetres, they're female. Easy as that. If you're interested in those, and they work great, the only place in Australia you can buy them, where we are at the front, I bring them in myself. They're called a tail spinner. Before I finish, thanks for putting up with me. We have a fishing bag. Now, if you've got $20, it doesn't go far these days. This way goes pretty much. You've got $85 worth of stuff for 20 if you're interested. What you get for your money, you get a fantastic cap, $15 from Abu Garcia. You get a $15 spool. You get 500 metres of mono line from one of my sponsors. You've got a DVD on that, filleting freshwater fish and saltwater fish, a bit on sharpening, $10. It's all in the bag. You get a pack of the Berkeley soft plastics in the power baits, or the Gulp, whichever's in the bag. Salt or fresh, $10. You get a fantastic soft live lure, $10, like the one I showed you in the tank. You get a $25 tungsten carbide sharpener. If you like the one on television, this will eat it. You've got better heads, double-sided, longer guarantee, better angle on your edge, about 25 degrees. All the instructions, and they're a double-sided head. Put all that together, you're working around about $85. If you buy it off the man with the big mouth, you're looking at $20. If you're interested, it's on.
Check this bad boy out. It's so deep, so nice.
Morning visitors, just letting you know that the Berkeley Super Tank Fishing Show with Cookie this morning is about to start. Make sure you check out the team while they demonstrate how the many different types of fish react to different lures and techniques used by many of today's top anglers. That's starting now over at the Berkeley Super Tank Fishing Show with Cookie.
Look at the transducers up there, look.
Yeah, they're insane. Look at the size of those screens. They're bigger than my TV in my room nearly. Rain. Oh, it's cute. This bandit's pretty sick.
Visitors, if you're over that way near the Berkeley Fishing Tank, you might like to call in to see the team at Affordable Camping Mats Queensland. They are local Redlands business that bring the best quality recycled poly camping mats to the market. When camping, your feet and caravan and camper trailer deserve to be spoiled. Make sure you visit Rob and Lynn over there.
Sexy bar crusher.
Mercury findings.
Oh yeah. Finally. Look at it up in there.
You've only had a mule laying around, don't you?
I know, right? And then the car to tow the thing.
Yeah, just a haul after something. Land Cruiser.
Might as well go for a quick boat look. Hey guys.
Good day. Oh, it's done a sticky break, mate.
I wish I could afford one. Maybe one day. I've got a tinny, but not this flash.
That's what finance is for.
Oh,
Look at that. That's building esky, look.
yeah,
As a seat.
it's awesome, isn't it? Want 100 grand rubber ducky?
100 grand.
100 grand rubber ducky? Look at the size of it.
Are you too worried about
Oh,
punching a hole? With
oh yes you would. At that price, wouldn't you?
Hey?
At that price. It's insane.
But if I had 100 grand to spend on a boat, I wouldn't worry about that.
No, me either. There's plenty of other things I'd buy. There's plenty of other things I'd buy. And not that.
Huh?
Not that, yeah. Like that's way nicer.
Big 150 in the low, Glass of bright. Making the eye of the water, isn't it?
Yeah, the white will be making your eyes water. Ski boat. I know, look at that thing. I wanted to see the price tag on it. I want to see the price tag on it.
I reckon probably 180.
150.
Pretty close, pretty close. Pretty close.
He was close.
You got a boat?
Yeah, I've got one too. Hey guys, this is Jigging Lures, Australian made lures for anglers. This is their display. I just thought I would show you some of their stuff and their card. Awesome people. Quality soft plastics. Some props, trainers, jackets. The awesome guys themselves. do import a lot of stuff. Got these awesome rods, really quality. There. Heads, we're just walking past them. Actually, well. Good, thanks, how are you? Yeah, thank you. Any more caravans. Yeah, let's go this way. I think we've seen enough caravans.
Yeah, these stuff.
They got some cool stuff in there. I've got one, but it hasn't got as chunky wheels as that. I just got it actually. Hello, how you going?
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Some people like look at you really weird when you're videoing, eh? Have you noticed? Some people give me like really weird looks, and some people.
What are you doing videos?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's funny. Oh, there's that chick that danced for me before.
Yeah. She must love all driving and camping.
It was funny how she was
Well, I
like,
do, but not to the extent I'm going to dance about it.
yeah. Oh, she was dancing for my video.
She wants to be YouTube famous.
I think so. Sweet, well, we've only got up there. I think we'll go in here, eh? And then do that last row. Yeah. I don't know how many more caravans I want to video.
I think they can put that boat in my driveway. It'll take up my whole driveway.
It wouldn't fit in mine.
Wouldn't it?
No.
Oh, the unicorn were in that. So the thermo fans and that.
Oh yeah.
Big V8.
That's them. I don't know how people are going to feel about me videoing. I'm just kind of not looking like really obvious. Shade.
Yeah, it's alright, shade.
Oh, there's all stuff up the side there too. Look. Junk for sale. combi. It'd be sick if you had some money to come somewhere like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's heaps of good show specials. You got it? Oh yeah, I've got one's different. But blue, but I've got one similar.
I paid $130 for it.
Yeah, they're not
Tell you one
cheap.
thing though, it's bloody good.
I've got some of that matting that the sand goes through. It's so good.
Oh yeah?
Cougars.
Easy throw nets.
Oh yeah. I've got a 10-foot cast net.
Yeah, 8 foot.
Slide your fingers in the edge. Go down the face of the net to the shortest point. Pull it out. Make sure it's not hooked up. Go right over the top of the ring and into your hand. That's ready to go. Now most people on the cast stick on the boat, floating, one-channel jetty, you just do it real short. Slide your knuckles under the weight line, pull it out like a skirt, and just toss it, put a tablecloth over around it. When you retrieve it on the ground, never be
There's a lot of prawns in there. That's a good idea.
go over the top of your bait bucket or your prawn box,
Impressive.
put a shake and empty out.
It's a lot easier, isn't it?
Fingers back into the ring and down the face of the net, pull it out. It's ready to go again. Now if you want to try it a bit further, instead of pulling that out like a skirt, throw it behind you, but just wind it up a little bit.
Different, aren't they?
Well, Cookie Kim will be making her famous one, but that's at 11:30.
This is easy throw cast nets. Easy throw cast nets. You just showed us how to throw it. Not surprising there. Check them out if you're after one.
It doesn't matter whether it's wet or dry, it's the same weight. They come in this case, which is designed to go underneath the seat of the four-wheel drive down the side pocket of the boat. There's a DVD in every case to show you how to use it. Because you're not gathering it up, the taller you are, the bigger the net you can handle. If you're holding it up here, you'll struggle with it. It's got to be sort of off the shoulder. You'd handle that net, you're tall enough, right? The most amazing thing with this product is it actually goes back into the case that it comes in.
Yeah, right.
So when you finish with your net,
Most
wash
things
it in fresh
don't.
water, dry it out, hang it in the shade to dry, not in the sun. Put all the weights in first and you'll struggle to get the rest in. Twist it up by the ring, it'll become slim like a snake. When you've got it curled up where it needs to be, you just wind it down into the case and put the handle on top.
Nice.
And it's all about working a bit smarter and not harder.
Yeah, true.
And that's basically what we're all about. It's a quick little jigger.
Throw like a pro in 15 minutes.
Awesome, thank you so much for showing us that. Yeah, I've seen a little kid one down the pin, prawning with one.
You use it sitting down. Sitting position just across the canoe, you know. Yeah.
I watched this little kid about 6 throwing one of them while his dad's throwing a normal 10-foot down Logan prawning, and he was having a ball with it, and he was getting about 2-3 prawns, you know, and he's all excited and he's pulling them out. I was just making my day watch it, but it was exactly one of these.
Yeah, it's just a small net.
Yeah.
We do one halfway in between that and that.
That's my favourite saying, isn't it, Cookie Kim? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful partner over here, Cookie Kim, greatest con maker on the planet, fair dinkum. Yeah, she will be making some stuff throughout the day and showing off her skills. She's learning, she's a good student. She's actually a chef and all the one doing all her own, but anyway. Me flipper. I've got one in here I prepared earlier, that's what I was going to say. And I'm just going to flip him out, have a look at him. Yeah, got a little bit stop because I got a bit carried away. Can I got a little bit on the bottom too, apparently. Right, so that's not how you do it. Now let me show you how you do it. Paying attention a bit more closely helps. Still looks alright to you guys? Yeah. That's bird beyond recognition in my standards. At my standards, that is bird beyond recognition. We normally go straight to the bin. Now I've got this way too hot on the bottom here. If you want to come over the floor of this oven, there's a layer of flour down there, which is firstly almost on fire at the moment just because it's that hot. Yeah, way too hot. So what I'm going to do now, because I want to cook this new damper that we just made in the same oven, I'm just going to coat that flour a bit thicker. Now that flour should tan up. Did you notice where it wasn't burnt? The rest of the flour was that nice dark tan. Well, it's actually a bit too dark. Well, that flour just put in there now will start to cook. And it will go to colour. So I'm using that colour on that flour to get the temperature right on the bottom of the oven. And I know for a fact, because I just burnt the last one, I've got too much under there. I just recently shoveled the whole heap under there. And it's too much. I need to get some out. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to rake some of those colours out. And slow that bottom heat down a touch. Just the old tin oven hook. That'll be fine. You don't normally need very much heat under an oven no matter what you're doing, especially roasting meats. When my ovens are starting off with a roasted meat, I can drop an onion ring in there and it won't go brown. That's how low I'm running my bases. Once you put the heat on the lid, that'll share down onto the underneath, and that will bring the floor temperature up as well. Okay, so we're getting some action here already. If anyone wants to have a look, this is where it's ready to start cooking with. See how it's cracking like dry concrete? If you see that on the flour that you put on the floor of the oven, happy days, start cooking. That base is now hot enough because the base temperature only has that one job, and that's to cook the crust on the bottom of your damper. Right? It doesn't cook anything else. That's all it does. The cooking of the damper is done by the hot air produced by the heat on the lid. Okay? So that's pretty good. That's going nicely. I'm going to put the damper batter straight in there now on that, the new one. Flatten my fingers first. Okay, so it's just going to go into there, straight down on the top. This is just going to be a straight up plain damper. I'm going to put a bit of a cross in him, so he doesn't rip himself apart when he rises. He'll have a bit of a cross pattern to follow. Another little trick, if I had a whole heap of raisins or dates or cheese and bacon and you have people add other things to the dampers, when you do that, a good little trick is, because that makes your damper more dense, is to get a little skewer and punch a whole heap of holes in it. Now the plain dampers like that you don't have to do it because it's got air in it already, but this is a good way of getting air back in a dense damper and it'll help with the lifting. Because those little steam tubes will help lift up your damper. Okay, so let's go on in. Good, can I just borrow your lift for a second? Thank you. Get the lid on and we'll get the top temperature right. And I use my hand for that to get the temperature just right. Now to me that's not hot enough. I just crack the whole off. I'm going to put a little bit more back on. Tongs. I'll need a glove actually because this charcoal is here. Throw some up on here. And this is going to take about 30 minutes. 4 cup damper, 30 minutes. Precisely measured 4 cup. Alright, now how do I know how hot that is? I use my hand as a temperature gauge, and I go to about a hand in height over the heat source. About there, 1, 2, yeah, that's hot. Okay, 1, 2, yeah, I don't leave my hand there, okay? Because it's just the right height, and it's going to be a very sharp beat, yeah, don't want to do it. This is when you start. It'll drop off a little bit deep later, but it's a good idea to learn that. 1, 2, yeah, you don't want to leave your hand there in front of it, because it's just very, very hot, okay? Obviously, if you went up a couple of hands in height and it was very, very hot, you're not going to hold a hand there like that, If you couldn't hold your hand there for 2 seconds, it's pretty bloody hot. You better get some bloody heat off the lid.
Submarines. They could never get the screen door to seal on that Collins class one.
No, they have a lot of trouble with that.
I'll have a look on the way back.
How you show you? They have their own quality controllers. Same as you.
Close, random. Caravans full drive. Well,
So we
there's
could
the
have come in
exit.
here.
Yeah, the car's only just there. So should we have a look at these caravans and then go down and have a look at that other aisle and go?